Joshua, I'm not going to even attempt to try to say your last name. I'm ask you to say it when you come to the table. And Mia Rose Malusco? Macalusco. If you two would come to the table. I want to thank Sergeant at Arms for keeping us safe.
Yes, thank you guys.
We appreciate you. Ms. Mia Macaluso, we're going to ask you to go first.
Okay, so my name is Mia Macaluso. I'm a junior at LSU. I study mass communications journalism. I'm the secretary and social media manager of TASA, Tigers Against Sexual Assault, as you were saying. We started it in January of 2020. We had been planning a bit before that, but we decided that we needed something on campus to advocate for students in a smaller capacity than what we're doing now, mostly like blue light stuff, like better police, that kind of stuff. Because the police department, as Kenzie was saying, is wildly incompetent. If you call the bus, so when I worked on campus, I would call the night bus and they would not answer, so I'd call the police department to give me a ride and they would not come or not answer their phone. It was very dangerous. Obviously, like I was walking home at night across campus by myself. So when all this came out in November, TASA started getting a lot of attention, and obviously we didn't think that it was going to get that kind of attention at first, but we planned accordingly. We started doing protests and that kind of stuff. It's not the best thing to be talking about all the time. It's very hard. Sometimes I have to put it aside and just like think about like why I'm doing it for a second for survivors. And luckily for me, I haven't experienced anything bad on LSU's campus, mostly just random catcalling and cars honking at me, as most women probably go through everywhere. A few of my friends have been assaulted, and one of my friends was stalked by a man, and later we found out that he was banned from the UREC for harassing girls in the UREC, but he was not disciplined in any other way besides his Tiger card not working at the UREC entrance. So obviously, and he was not even an athlete, so he didn't have special athlete privileges. They just simply did not reprimand him at all. So when we started TASA, we basically wanted to put together this task force to help, and then when everything blew up, we started getting more followers and more members, which is obviously good, but it's hard not to think that I didn't want TASA to blow up this way. And I think my co-president, I'm not the president, I'm the secretary, but one of the co-presidents is in the audience, Angelina. She's amazing. She's been putting in the work for so long, and I'm really grateful to her. It's just hard. I've been answering DMs and Instagram messages, Twitter messages from survivors and people who want to help, people who want to donate, and I just can't give them answers, and that really hurts when people like try to talk to me and I'm like, I like can't tell you when LSU is going to do something because they are not doing anything. I'm from New Orleans. My family has lived here. My family has been going to LSU. My dad went to LSU. My first Halloween costume was an LSU cheerleading outfit. So I've been wanting, it wasn't my first choice for a university, but it was the best choice for me and my family. Obviously, financial aid is very important, so that was a big thing. And I came here with the expectation that I would be safe on campus, and I am not, and I have never felt safe on campus, even during the day. I like when I have classes with my friends because we can walk together. I went to a private high school in New Orleans. private Catholic high school, and any other disagreements I had with their morals and teachings. I know that I got a great education there, and I know that I was taught to stand up for myself as a woman. Gossip obviously spreads fast around an all-girls school, and even when I was in high school, I knew that Darius Geis was not the man to mess with. All the older girls, when I was a freshman and a sophomore, he was probably a freshman in college, and all the older girls knew him because about a third of our grade, so probably like 100 girls would go to LSU every year. So they knew what was going on campus, who to watch out for and stuff, and a girl in my grade was considering taking him to a dance, and we were all like, you should not do that. Like, please don't bring him here. Like, we've all heard things about him. And that was 4 years ago. So obviously he was never reprimanded or anything. He was allowed to graduate and go on to the NFL. He's not in the NFL anymore, obviously, which is good. But I'm here because I want the girls who I went to high school with and the girls who are going to go to LSU to know that people want to stand up for them and we want them to be safe. Sorry, I'm a little emotional about it. I'm not a great speaker.
You're doing wonderful.
Thank you.
You're doing wonderful.
I don't want my little brother is a freshman, and it's humiliating that my dad went here. It's humiliating that my parents have to pay tuition for us to come to a school that will not protect us. It's not just women either, like men get raped and assaulted too. Men aren't going to be protected on this campus either from those things if a football player decides to do that to them. And it's worrying that I have female friends that I have to think about every day when they go on campus. Like, what if they get hurt or, just like assaulted? It's very hard to think about. And organizing the protests and doing everything these past few months has been very eye-opening for me, and I think that I definitely knew what was out there before, but the fact that a university this large could cover up something for so long and involve so many people is humiliating. I pay tuition to go here. I am the ultimate boss, as Mr. DeQueer said. He said that the ultimate boss was the athletic director. No, the ultimate boss is the students. We pay to be here. We pay the professors. We pay Tom Galligan. We pay Coach O's salary. Doesn't matter what endorsements the football team does. We pay that to be here and to be safe. And it's disheartening and it's humiliating and it's scary to know that if this were to happen to me in the future, I would not be protected and I would have to get outside help to, basically be able to live my life again. I don't think I could step on campus or into a building where I was assaulted. I think that I would have to leave LSU and go to another school, and I'm already considering that for grad school because I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to go to a campus that continually puts my money into covering up these kinds of things. For your question on where the Title X office is, Himes Hall is where the Office of Testing and Evaluation is, so the testing center where most freshmen take gen ed tests and stuff. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows where Himes Hall is, but the actual floors that contain offices and departments are almost always empty. So in my personal opinion, it would be a good place for the Title X office to be, because students, obviously, it's right next to the library. Students know where it is, but the hallways, if you go in, people just think you're going to, the Women and Gender Studies department is there. I'm pretty sure the English department is there, the history department. So in my opinion, I think that's a good place for it to be. And I agree with the opinion that the union would be probably too busy and because I'm a very private person, so I think that if I were to have a problem and need to go into the office, I would want to go at a time where no one is in the union, but by then the office would be closed. So, yeah, and I got a note to say that a lot of students who wanted to speak today couldn't because of class or other obligations. So, if there were to be like another hearing, if you could extend the invitation for survivors and other testimony people to come talk again as well, that would be great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And we,
if you have any questions about STAR, not STAR, TASA, I can answer them.
okay. And we do have some questions. Do you guys want to ask now? Or do y'all want to hear from Joshua first? Okay.
How's it going, y'all? Thank you, Madam Chairwoman and members of the committee, for allowing me to speak before you today.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
I'm Joshua Svetanics, is how you pronounce my last name.
Okay.
I don't blame you for not pronouncing it. I didn't know how to pronounce it till I was 5. So it's a toughie. But I'm very honored to be able to be here today before you guys, and I'm grateful for each and every single one of you guys and the special experiences and wisdom that you guys get to bring before us and the legislator as women. I think you guys have a very unique voice, and I've been able to follow you guys the past couple of weeks as all this has been happening, and I've been very proud of y'all's responses to this. Thank you again for allowing us as students 18 to 22-year-olds to come and share. I know that our generation is usually not looked highly upon, and I'm super thankful that you are able to allow us to be here. I want to thank those who've come to share before me and who will share after me for their bravery and coming to share, and also want to thank people bravery.
Oh, hold on. Excuse me, if you're on the phone line, we're going to ask you to please mute your line until you get ready to speak. Sorry.
Oh, you're all good. It's all good. I want to thank, and just by the way, I have my notes on here. I'm not doing like homework or YouTube or anything like that. I was trying to write them on my notepad, but my hand was shaking. I was like, I got to write them down. But yeah, I just want to thank all the incredible survivors and their bravery for being able to share up here today. I'm a transfer student here at LSU. This is my first year. I'm in my junior year. I'm part of the business school, the honors college, the student philanthropy council, and Tigers Against Sexual Assault like Mia here. And I've always dreamed of coming to LSU. It's been a dream of mine and my family to come to LSU for many years. And I came to LSU, I was seeking to grow in experience. I was seeking to grow in knowledge. And I believe I've done that. I believe one of the greatest lessons I've learned at LSU is that they don't do everything that they can. That's everything in their power to protect their students and to protect those who pay to be a part of their campus. I'd also like to note that I'm up here sharing against the advice of my grandfather, who said, Josh, you need to be careful what you say about the university publicly. You don't want them to come back at you and hurt you even worse. He said that to me, and I was like, I kind of like brushed it off. I was like, yeah, but it showed me the perspective of like the general Baton Rouge population, like towards like what they think the administration can do towards students, you know? And so I thought that was just important to note. I was able to attend this hearing and watch the hearing that happened previously, and watching the LSU administrators testify and do everything that they could to save their face before the public was very frustrating and disturbing. Just as an LSU student, and I didn't share then, I didn't feel like, I'm not a survivor, so I didn't feel like I had the right to share. But every day since that day, I've regretted not saying anything. I've regretted not using my voice to honor and defend the survivors of sexual assault. And so I said today's going to be different. I want to begin by saying that I'm here to present the perspective of the student body. Like I said, I'm not a survivor myself, but many people in my family have experienced sexual assault, and this topic does hit very close to home for me. Many of the things I say are going to be things I've heard from the student body or things I've heard from different people on LSU's campus regarding the conversation of LSU's handling of this. And I think some of them might be like rumors, you know, but things that could be true and that need to be investigated further. And I wanted them to bring these conversations before you so that you are fully aware, as much as I am, of what's happening on LSU's campus and what we can do to better serve the survivors on LSU's campus. One of the things I heard today that was truly shocking from Attorney DeCoeur was the lack of preparedness that he came with. There was a couple things that the committee asked him that, as a student sitting in the back, I was like, I know the answer to that. Like some of the things that was presented, I think students understand regarding the committee on Jonathan Sanders that he is still in the same position that he was before, with many of the same responsibilities. The only difference is that he's not able to be a part of disciplinary hearings involving students. I think that's a big thing to take note of. I think students also understand regarding Miriam Seeger and Verge Osbury that they told the committee before the lawsuit and stuff this week that they were not going to be able to come because they were on a vacation, which was shocking to me because this year students in LSU did not receive a spring break. We got Friday off for Good Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is, we always get Saturday, Sunday off, but back to school on Monday. This was a slap in the face because they took the time that they were given to attend sexual assault trainings to reflect on their actions, and they instead chose to go on vacation and enjoy themselves and decline the opportunity to come and take responsibility for their actions. And it was a slap in the face that they got to take a spring break when we didn't, when we are the ones who have to, feel all this stuff that they've kind of put before us. Another thing regarding the comment Miss Lamondre said, and I want to thank her. I've seen all the work that she and Star does. I'm so thankful for them. But one of the statements she said concerning Miriam Seeger, I've heard rumors, and so take it for what it's worth, but that Miss Seeger believes that she was misrepresented in the Hutch Blackwell report. And when I heard this, it immediately brought me back to this room a month ago when two survivors sat at this very table and said that they were misrepresented as well in the Hutch Blackwell report. And my concern with that is if both faculty members and survivors feel misrepresented, then how much can we trust that report that was given to us? How much can we take the facts that LSU is like, this is what we have, this is the truth, all this stuff? How much can we really believe that if both faculty members and students say that this report has stuff in it that is misrepresenting them? To the students at LSU, it feels like LSU is trying to protect their brand more than their actual students. LSU seems like they're more worried about saying what's right and saving face rather than coming before this committee and the students who they're supposed to serve. This is why Coach O and various members of the board and various members of the athletic department chose not to testify today. It's understandable that they want to protect, they don't want to harm their standing in a legal case. However, if I and 10 to 20 other students could take time out of their incredibly busy student schedule, I know we have at least two people in the room right now who are on a Zoom class, trying to keep up with their studies. But if 10 to 20 other students can come together and be here to make sure LSU is held accountable for their actions, I believe that they should be too, even if they don't testify. They should be able to come in here and look every student who testifies in the eye and know the pain and the frustration that they have caused. I'd like to also bring to the attention of the committee an article that was published recently in the Baton Rouge Business Report about LSU's mishandlings of sexual assault. This article details the experience of a survivor that involved a tenured professor at LSU State University. This tenured professor allegedly stalked, coerced, and exposed himself, among other things, to a student back in 2017. And the university heard this, understood this, and took minimal actions to punish this professor. The business report reported that the professor's tenure was suspended indefinitely in 2017, but surprisingly was reinstated in March of this year. This was stunning. First, that he wasn't fired for his actions because of the Baton Rouge Business Report reports a lot that was very gross and not good. But it was stunning that he wasn't fired in the first place, but it's even more stunning that he was able to receive back his tenure, which is Extremely rare. The Baton Rouge Business Report says that never happens. And especially in a time when LSU is under so much scrutiny for sexual assault mishandlings. From my perspective as a student, I would say I'm not surprised, just greatly disappointed. While I believe LSU is doing some things to protect their students, I do believe that to be true, but I do not believe that they are doing enough by anybody's standards but their own. Students demand accountability. Students demand that those responsible be punished for their gross misactions. When people ask me about the issues regarding sexual assault on LSU's campus, my answer is the same every time. I say I'm not surprised by another sexual assault being reported. I'm not surprised that the university is mishandling a situation. While I'm not surprised, I am deeply heartbroken and deeply disappointed by the actions of the university that I love. It's disappointing that I worry about my safety as I walk around campus. It's disappointing that I worry about my girlfriends and my friends' safety as I walk on campus. It's disappointing that LSU doesn't take full responsibility for the actions that they've committed or that their faculty has commuted. This is to LSU, the student body is disappointed in you. We are counting on you, and you have failed us, and you continue to fail us. I hope that the university that I love and that I believe in is something that I could believe in once again, and trust in once again, but I'm highly doubtful. I want to thank you again, Madam Chairwoman, and members of the committee for allowing me to share. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And I want to thank both of you very much for your bravery and your testimony. And, I was told the same thing about speaking up when I was younger. But I can tell y'all this. One thing I have often witnessed is that when there have ever been real significant change, oftentimes they come through young people. And so we appreciate your testimony. But there are two things that stuck out to me from your testimony, Mia, when you said you have never felt safe. That to me is extremely disturbing. Because if you never felt safe, how many more students never felt safe? That is extremely troubling. And that has to be corrected.
I can guarantee you could ask any female LSU student, and she will have multiple instances of either walking home late at night or a car bonking at her on Highland when you're crossing the street, which makes you feel terrible. Just ruins your day. Just sitting in the library by yourself, or sitting in the union by yourself, sitting in a hallway, like you're always wondering whether someone's going to come up to you and say something or try to do something to you. Going to the bathroom by yourself in a building, like every female student, and I'm sure it's like this at most universities, but every female student you ask will say that they feel unsafe at least one or two times in their college career.
And that has to impede on learning. I mean, if you're constantly worrying.
Absolutely.
And then for you to say that they have failed you and they continue to fail you, then that is just not a good path forward. So again, I want to personally thank both of you, and we hear you. And Senator Jackson, I think, proposed this initially in terms of us making sure that we have a venue large enough where we can host a meeting where everybody that wants to attend can be there, and we will work towards doing that. I promise you that. I give you my word. Okay, Senator Mizell left. Representative Freeman, I think she had to go take care of grandbaby. Representative Freeman, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mia and Josh, thank you for both being here. Mia, thank you for starting TASA. The fact that it just started in January 2020 shows me that it probably should have been there before you arrived, but I am so thankful that you started it,
Yes, so
And
technically Angelina and our other president, Angel Upshaw, started it, but I was one of the first people on the e-board. Like, we were the original
Well, I think
members.
all those who started it, because it gives a spot that's of comfort to survivors and to people who support survivors, and that means a lot. And thanks for explaining the location of where the office is and why probably most members of TASA and supporters of TASA would think that to be appropriate. And Josh, I have to say, as a mom of 4 children who range from 32 to 20, my youngest 2 are in college, one at LSU. She's a LSU student and junior studying education. But I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And I'm very grateful for you being here as a supporter of survivors, because there are women and men survivors, and it takes a lot of courage. The conversation you shared about your grandfather, I'm pretty sure my kids have had similar conversations with their grandparents at times where they say, well, you really shouldn't mess with this situation. It's not your place. And, I hope your grandfather sees this testimony and feels very proud of you, and realizes that you were using your moral compass to do what was right for your generation, because having you all here and speaking is really important to this conversation. And I really thank Madam Chair for giving you all that opportunity. I have 2 bills which will be coming up, one on the sexual assault and leases, and one about mandatory reporting and termination of employees who do not report at higher education institutions. And I would encourage you all and all the students who are here and those who are listening. I mean, I did get texts from some students who said I might have come, but I really couldn't miss my class because I know it's the end of the semester. So for those students listening or who may listen later or read about this on the on-campus news reporting systems, the paper and the TV, Tiger TV, I think. Several of you have my cell phone number. I'm not going to put it on the mic, but it's fine for you all to text me if you're going to be in this building. If you want to testify on one of my bills or one of my colleagues' bills, I'd be, if you want to testify against a bill that you're worried about, I'd be happy to be a resource to all of you, because I know the way I raised my 4 kids, I was an outspoken young person like you all, and I've raised them to speak up. So I really, and for those who might be fearful and think that they're not good at public speaking, if I can do anything to encourage them, sit beside them, sit behind them, give them a little booster before they sit at the table. I know it can be very, very scary to sit at that table, even as a freshman legislator last year when I presented my first bill. So, it doesn't matter how much experience you have in life. I don't want people to feel intimidated. I want you to know that we're here to support you. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Freeman, and thank you for those words of encouragement, because we do mean that. And, I often say, when you say stuff, people hear you, and you never know where that may take you. Sometimes in olden days, I guess, our grandparents and there were some repercussions. But oftentimes when repercussions happens, opportunities happens as well. So we just want you to be encouraged and continue to keep speaking and continue to keep standing for what you believe in, because when you do that, you always come out on the right side and on top. So again, we want to thank y'all for coming.